Hi, friends, and welcome to another episode of Reinvent and Rediscover, where I talk to you about redefining your sense of self and kind of figuring out your purpose in the world. This episode, we are starting a new series called Advice with Ava, and I made a post on my Instagram asking on what people need advice for or about, and I only got 2 responses, so we're going to dive into that, and then I'm going to go on a tangent and give myself and you, if you're listening, a little bit of a pep talk. This is my first week ever having the video as well, so if you're listening to this or have been listening to this on Spotify and Apple or Amazon, any of the podcasting websites, you can also now view this on YouTube. And I believe Spotify also has their video version as well. But hi, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. We're all cozy. Even though I just drank a Celsius. This one was a pina colada one. Pina playa vibe. Vamos a la playa. Okay, anywho. My first question that I got asked was and I'm not even gonna say who it's from. I'm just gonna leave that anonymous, but it's actually a really funny backstory of who asked me this. But they said how to let go of someone that you loved. And you know what? I feel like I've never really been in this situation because anyone I've let go of that I have dated or been with, I've always been so sure of my decision. And of course, I've dealt with heartbreak, but a lot of it is just unlearning your habits in life that you had with this person. Um, it's a lot of just recognizing that they are no longer a part of your daily routines, and you have to relearn your daily routines, your habits, your hobbies, the things you enjoy without this person. And kind of that was somewhat of the whole inspiration behind Reinvent and Rediscover was reinventing who you are, rebuilding yourself, starting over, kind of turning the page in life and starting a new chapter. And with that comes kind of starting from scratch in a way. Sometimes it takes removing someone from your life who was crafting like a specific version of you, or you were a specific version of yourself with that person, right? And now that they're no longer in your life, you get to decide who you want to be moving forward, and you get to adapt new habits, hobbies. You get to adopt new things about yourself that have nothing to do with that person or that have no say in it anymore. You can truly be free and without judgment, without fear of how that may affect your partner or whatever the case may be. But use the time without the person you loved to define a very strong sense of self without them. But you have to recognize that they are not a part of this new life that you are creating. And though I think grieving someone you lost, whether that be like you lost them physically or you just have to let go of someone you loved. I hope the audio's okay because I feel like I'm trying not to scream into the mic, but it keeps going into the yellow zone. Um, but sometimes you have to grieve someone who has not physically like left the earth, right? Um, but grieving the loss or the lack of presence they have in your life now. And that's okay to feel that way and to feel those emotions and let it run its course. But you have to move forward. And sometimes I think we still think about people we once loved. And sometimes you have those, oh, what if? What if things worked out? Or what if, But something that brings me a lot of peace. And if you're not religious, maybe this doesn't apply to you. But to me, what was given to me by God will find its way back to me, you know? And maybe if you're not religious, maybe you just believe that if it was meant for you, that it'll come back. And I truly think it's as simple as that. I do believe that you can meet the right person at the wrong time. I believe you can let someone go, work on things, and find your way back to them only if that person was given from God, if it was truly, truly meant to be, if it was truly fate. Um, but until then, you can't spend every day mourning over it and wrecking yourself. Like, spend the time to be a very defined individual, you know? I hope that was helpful advice. Just learn to let go. And learn from the experience as you turn the page. Okay, the next question someone asked me, I think it was like a general advice question. Let me go back and check what they had said. Okay, and then someone just asked me to give some travel insights. And first thing I'm going to say is that I endorse solo travel, and I highly recommend that you solo travel at least once in your life, at least a small weekend trip, at least driving distance. Like maybe, oh my gosh, my hair looks horrific. Maybe you don't want to get on a plane and go to the other side of the world like I've done, but maybe you want to start small. But let me tell you something. Solo travel is the best way to discover parts of yourself that you didn't know existed. Like, you will learn so much about your personality and kind of how you fit in a room, if that makes sense, when you travel alone. Because it forces you outside of your comfort zone. And I think the more you push the boundaries of your comfort zone, the more confident you will become. I think it has done wonders for my confidence knowing that you can put me in a foreign country, not know the language, not do much research, not know anybody there, and I'll figure it out. Always have. I did lose my passport and a debit card in Japan, but I got it back that same day. So it was totally fine. I feel like that I was not as stressed as I should have been in that situation, to be honest. But I think solo travel has taught me to not get so worked up over things because it's like, it's gonna have to work out or you're gonna have to problem solve. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other option. Like, you're gonna have to figure something out. So, no need to work yourself up over things, like, sweat over it. It's taught me just to let more things roll off my back because traveling can be really stressful, just like life, right? But traveling on your own can be super stressful. And when you realize that you're dependent on yourself and you have absolutely no one to bounce ideas off of or rely on if something were to happen, or if you were to get lost, or if your phone dies, or you lose your passport, when you realize that it's really just you out some foreign area or even just a different town, um, it definitely builds confidence and strengthens your ability to make decisions. I even went on like a solo hiking trip when I was, I think, 18, 19. I don't even know. It was driving distance, but it was like 6.5 hours away from home. And I remember as soon as I got there, my car started like smoking. Had to pull over at a gas station. Had no idea what to do. Well, a stranger ended up helping me because my coolant cap blew off. It wasn't tightened enough when I got my car checked the day before I left. And I made it all the way there, and my coolant, I guess, got hot enough that it blew the cap off. So it blew coolant all over the inside of my hood, and that's what started smoking. But a stranger helped me. It was a-okay. And then I realized that I arrived a day early to my hostel. Didn't know what to do because I was under 21. Maybe I was like 20, but I know I was under 21 because I couldn't book a hotel room because I wasn't old enough. And I couldn't get in contact with the hostel owners to ask if I could just stay there a day early. So I drove to a motel. I stayed in a motel. But you know what? I had to figure something out. And I did. And it was fine. But beyond that, what I will say about traveling in general, solo or not, when you travel, do the tourist stuff, okay? Like, I feel like so many people always want to say, oh, you come to Paris and you don't get the Parisian experience because you went to the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre and, the main tourist attractions. Or the same thing with New York City. People are always talking about, oh, you did every basic possible tourist thing you could do. Yeah, of course, because I'm a tourist. That's why people like to visit these big cities, is for the tourist things. But I will say, especially when it comes to eating or like the dining experience, try some random local places as well. Like, definitely venture off the main roads, eat something random, eat something you've never tried before, eat their cuisine that they're known for, because I think you can truly experience a place based off their cuisine, and you can experience the culture of, like, if you're in a different country, you can really experience the culture of a place through their food, and especially where the local people are going. I know, like, it's fun to try the TikTok famous places and maybe pick a few of them or whatever, but it's fun to go off the beaten path and enjoy something that the people who live there are actually going to eat. You know what I mean? So those would be my main tips or kind of advice for travel as a whole. Okay, and then the same person also asked me for tips regarding self-discovery, as that is what this podcast is mostly about. My biggest tip for self-discovery is to try new things alone. I think people get really wrapped up in, oh, I spend so much time alone. I spend so much time alone. But it's like, are you spending quality time with yourself? Think about it. If you were to start dating someone and all you all did was sit in a room and scroll through your phone, or do the same things over and over, like you just go to the gym together, you just go to get Chipotle together. If you're just doing the same things with that person, you're not really going to get to know their personality, or you're not really actually going to know much about them, even though you spend a lot of time with each other. And it may be quality time. You may have a great time doing those same things together. It may be comfortable. It may feel good. Um, Try something different and you will learn a lot about someone else, right? If you try something new or you try something they enjoy, or you try something out of your comfort zone, or you switch it up, you're always doing something different, something new, something exciting each day, or whatever the case may be, you're going to learn so much more about them quicker. That's why on those dating shows, they always bring some extravagant, like The Bachelor. Every date they go on, it's some random date. Like they go to amusement park and then they're going to pick pumpkins or something. Like each date is different because it brings out a different side of the person doing different things. So, all of that goes to say is the best way to learn more about yourself is to put yourself in new situations that will maybe allow you to feel uncomfortable, but it will allow you to grow and it will allow you to learn something about yourself. So, if you're kind of feeling lost in life, put yourself in more uncomfortable situations and try new things. Um, but don't get into the rut of spending all this time alone, but you're not doing anything of quality. Okay, just because you spend a lot of time alone doesn't mean you're on your like self-discovery journey. You know what I mean? All right. Okay, this is in real time because I just posted on Instagram a few minutes ago telling people to ask me for advice. And one of my friends who I met in Japan asked if I were to move to New York City, where should I live? And okay, hear me out because I live on the outskirts of the city, right? But I do spend a lot of time in New York City. I think the obvious answer a lot of people would say is the West Village. And that's valid because on my New York City guides, most of the stuff is in the West Village as far as what to eat and cute little bars and things. And it's super trendy and it's kind of hip and it's kind of fun. I don't really have a lot of opinions regarding this topic. I will say if I were to choose where I would live in New York City, it would probably be the West Village because wherever I would move in New York City, it would be Manhattan. Okay, I'm sorry. I know people are starting to migrate to Brooklyn or whatever. I haven't really done much in Brooklyn, but it's just, I think I would stay in Manhattan. And if I were to, work in finance or something, the financial district, hear me out. It's quiet at night, it's quiet on the weekends, and it's got some really nice things about the financial district. Like all the piers that are down in there, like specifically Seaport. I don't know why I like the area of Seaport so much. I just think it's cute and you can go walk along the water, you know? But there's not really much to do in the financial district because it's the financial district. But I just like the vibe. I feel quiet and at peace there, and I feel really safe there as well. That's kind of all I have to say, honestly. I feel like those are very basic answers, and I don't feel quite qualified to answer that. But there's that. So no one else is asking me any questions or needs advice, so let's go on a little tangent. I've been in need of like a serious pep talk recently because the way I have spiraled and allowed myself to spiral is egregious. Okay? Is that the word? Egregious? Whatever. Egregious. It's not okay. And something I keep telling myself is, why would you not be able to get through this? You know what I mean? You have stacked up years of evidence that you are resilient, that you are capable, that you can handle hard, tough things. You have stacked up proof that you are strong and capable, and that nothing has gotten you. I was going to say nothing has gotten you down, but like things have gotten you down in life and you have always recovered. You always found a way through. You always found a way out. You always grew from things that were tough. So why would this be any different? No? Like really think about that. Because anytime I'm like, oh, this is the worst it's ever gonna get, it's like, all right. And then tomorrow you just keep turning the page, page by page by page. And it always one day, it's like enough time has passed that you can look back and truly see how much you've grown. Everything, every single thing in this life is temporary, truly. So it's not gonna last forever. It's not gonna always be a bad time. And that's what I keep telling myself. So maybe you needed to hear that as well. Another thing I've been needing to hear lately is to just take a chance on myself. I think so many people are just sitting on potential, wasted potential. There's so many people that I meet, and I'm like, if you just applied yourself more, either mentally or physically, if you just truly applied yourself more, you would be like, you just have so much more going for you. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you meet people and it's like, wow, I don't even mean this in a disrespectful way, but it's like, wow, if you truly went to the gym every single day or started applying yourself physically and took care of your body, this one body that you get, if you truly started taking better care of it, you would be unstoppable. You know what I mean? Or I meet people and I can tell they are so content with the situation that they're in. And I'm like, if you just reached up and strived for more, you would be unstoppable. But I think we keep like putting limits on ourselves, like limits on our growth. And that's something that I have feared my entire life is boxing myself in and staying stagnant. Because it's so easy to get into a routine. And it's so easy to then start thinking like, oh, this is the best it'll ever get, or, why change it? My dad always said growing up, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I feel like that's like a Southern saying, but whereas I feel like a lot of times that is true, like don't bother with something that is working just fine, there's no need. And I think that speaks to contentment. However, I think it is important to keep working towards more. There's always something else. There's always more. You can always achieve more, have more growth, learn more things. There's always something else that you can strengthen, an asset of yours that you can strengthen. And if you're in a position or in an environment specifically that has capped your growth, change your environment. That's what I'm doing. It's hard. It's very uncomfortable right now. Transition periods are meant to be uncomfortable because it's unveiling your vulnerability. It's like, what's the word? It's like taking the band-aid off and exposing like what's really underneath it, whatever imperfection that you're covering. It's like when you rip off the band-aid and it's like, oh my gosh, this is really uncomfortable. What if you get an infection or something? No, but on a serious note, it's supposed to be uncomfortable when you make a big decision to change your environment and to step into an environment where it's bigger than you. You know what I mean? Like you have big shoes to fill and you're standing in a room and you feel smaller than everyone else. That is so good because that's going to allow you to step up to the plate and to challenge yourself and grow in new areas and fill the space, fill the room, gain confidence. But it's hard when you feel like you fit just right somewhere and there's nothing wrong and you're gliding by and you can glide by for years, for the rest of your life. There's no issue with that. Most people do. But what if you walked into a room where everyone around you is more successful than you, more attractive than you, more physically fit than you, smarter than you, read more books than you? That would intimidate you enough to want to match what they're doing. And if you change your environment, you will grow. Okay? There's always growth in a new environment. I believe that we are reflections of our environment for better or for worse. Your environment can ruin you. It can keep you stagnant. It can keep you stuck. The biggest thing ever for self-growth is changing your environment. You never know what opportunity may present itself to you when you put yourself in a new environment and you challenge yourself. There's always something to learn, you know? So that's what I'm working on. And like I said, sometimes your change of environment is not like a physical, like moving states. Sometimes it's just changing your mental headspace. Sometimes it's changing the friends that you're around. Are your friends helping you grow? Do they have the best in mind for themselves for you? Are they holding you to high standards? What about the places that you go in general? Like, what kind of environments are you subjecting yourself to on the daily? Like, if you're always going to McDonald's or Taco Bell, I don't know. It's like, yeah, you can't always afford to go out to nice restaurants, obviously, so I cook at home a lot. But sometimes I challenge myself to go somewhere nicer to sit down and eat, or go to a nice bar and have a drink. Putting yourself in environments that will subject you to people you want to be more like. For me, something I've been wanting to change about my environment is my car. And while I cannot afford a new car right now, I have made the inside of my car a mess. And it's embarrassing because that's not what I want to be portrayed as. And the type of people that I want to be friends with, the type of successful people that I want to subject myself around, would not have a car looking like mine. And it's okay that I have an older car and there's things that need fixing on it, things I can't control. But I can control the inside of my car, the mess I've made of it. So think about that. Think about how messy is your room? That's cluttering your mind. That's cluttering your mental state. Keep your room clean. You'll be more productive. Make your bed. You'll be more productive. Clean your car. You'll feel better and more confident about yourself. You'll feel like the less clutter you have, the clearer your mind will feel. And maybe your clutter is friends that don't support you. Maybe your clutter is whatever that you need to take away, remove from the situation. I think this is so funny because I'm recording this on a new software. I usually just use voice memos, but since I'm adding in video now, I keep looking for the pause button because usually I just roll this in one tape, but I'm like trying to be more thought out and intentional with what I'm saying, and especially having videos, so I keep looking for the pause button. Something I wrote in my notes as I was preparing for this week's episode was, if I'm not learning from every situation I've been in, then I'm doing a disservice to the struggle that I endured. And that just speaks to finding something to learn from every situation that you've been in. How do you turn this stuff off? Finding something from everything. There's room for growth everywhere. And what I will say about that is, you won't learn anything from anything if you're not reflecting, if you're not diving deep enough to put those ties together and actually take the time to think about how something may have impacted you, what you can do differently, how you can move forward. If you're not taking the time to dive deep into things, then you're doing a disservice to yourself because you're just rolling with the punches. You just keep getting hit and hit and hit and hit, all for nothing. You're not going to learn anything from that if you don't take the time to think and sit with your thoughts and sit with what happened and digest and process the outcomes of that. And how it affected you, but how you can use it for your growth. I think a lot of people get so frustrated by life because it's like you keep subjecting yourself to the same thing over and over and you've never learned from it because you've never thought deep enough to learn from it. It doesn't just get thrown into your head. Knowledge doesn't happen from nothing. Knowledge happens from taking the time to digest scenarios and apply what you can learn from them to make changes to move forward differently. Does that make sense? Like the application of the lesson you learn is so important. So, anyways, that's a little tangent on self growth for you. I hate the fact I keep looking for this pause button. Please be patient with me, okay? Also, I turned 25 this Saturday. So, wish me happy birthday because I'm a little nervous about that. But, and one last thing I will say about the whole self growth thing and the discomfort is to do what scares you. That's why I did a marathon. It scared me. I didn't think I was capable, so I signed up for one and I did it. That teaches you a lot when you give yourself no other option but to step up to the challenge. I'm going to check Instagram one more time to see if anyone else commented about advice they want. No, they didn't. Losers. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this Advice with Ava session, the first of hopefully many. Some advice I guess I'll ask you all to comment what you might need advice for, and I guess some will just be curated by my own wisdom and thoughts that I come up with throughout the week. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and the video, and if you're coming newly on YouTube, then hello and welcome to the Reinvent and Rediscover podcast. And I hope to see you next Thursday. As always, live passionately. Bye.